In Lesson 3.9, students will read one or more informational texts that support the classroom observations for how plants have changed throughout their life cycle. In doing so, students will also reinforce their understanding from kindergarten science lessons that taught the students that plants look similar to their parent plants, but are not exact copies. Materials for Lesson 3.9 are pretty minimal. The main material for today's lesson will be a physical copy of an age-appropriate plant life cycle text, and the lesson recommends the text Plant Secrets by Emily Goodman, but there are other appropriate texts that could be used as well. And these books can be obtained from school or local libraries if we don't already have them in our classrooms. The lesson plan uses Plant Secrets, so I'd recommend that title as a first option because it's really going to tie in well with the activity that will follow. In addition to the physical copy of the story, you will also want to prepare some printed copies of pages from the story that will include information on 4 focus plants. And if we're using Plant Secrets, those 4 plants will be the rose, the oak tree, a pea plant, and a tomato plant. Again, if you don't have access to the book Plant Secrets, we'll just pick some alternate focus plants, which can be selected based on the other texts that we happen to have access to. There is also a plant Venn diagram, which is provided in the lesson plan so that students can use this when they're making those compare and contrasting observations between young plants and their adult plants. Lesson 3.9 begins with the teacher connecting Jack and the Beanstalk to the idea of plant life cycles. And at this point in the kit, this conversation is probably going to feel more like a review to the students. There is a script in the lesson plan to provide some structure to this discussion. And the lesson plan includes a hyperlink to a National Geographic Young Explorer article titled Lookalikes, so that students can see how young animals resemble their parents, but don't look exactly like their parents. It's important to note here that whereas the lesson plan that we're following focuses a little more on animals resembling their parents, for our Tennessee first grade life science standards, we really want to ground this discussion more about the plants, about how young plants resemble their parents. And there's now been a note added to this lesson in the digital kit manual that includes some images of things like a young and adult cactus to really help students make some apparent observations for how young plants can look like their adults while there's still some differences going on. After this discussion, the teacher leads the class in a read aloud of Plant Secrets or a similar text. After the reading, the teacher has the students select a focus plant and work with a partner using the provided Venn diagrams from the lesson to record important information about the plant from the text. Once again, if you have a physical copy of Plant Secrets, you can prepare copies of the specific pages from this story that discuss the 4 focus plants. Otherwise, you will need to adjust this portion of the lesson based on the text that you have available for your class. Regardless of the text that students use, after they've had enough time to work with a partner and gather some information about these focus plants, the teacher has partners share out details for how their focus plants do look similar to, but not exactly like, an adult plant.